Meghan Markle's half-brother appeared on GB News last week following the release of a tell-all book about the Duchess of Sussex. Thomas Markle Jr., 55, endorsed the bombshell unauthorized biography which has been slammed as an attack on Meghan. He also did not hold back when speaking about his half-sister, saying she needs to stay out of politics and go back to rescuing chickens. Chatting with Dan Wootton, he touched on Prince Harry's recent speech at the United Nations in New York City. He said, "You know, you're going to a memorial for Mandela at the UN building, which is an open invitation to anyone in the general pub. Then you start talking about peace and politics, which has nothing to do with anything there at that point. Sussexes, they need to stick to rescuing chickens in Montecito and stay out of politics." Prince Harry to leave out detail that would burn the whole firm down in new book. Prince Harry's highly anticipated book will not be the juicy tell-all some royal commentators have described, as it is not in the Duke of Sussex's DNA to be salacious about the royal family. This is not the first time that Thomas, nor his sister Samantha, have commented on Meghan and Harry with a negative tone. In fact, their criticism began in the early days of their half-sister's relationship with the prince. Jenny Bond, former BBC royal correspondent, looked back on Meghan's introduction to the royal family, claiming that Thomas and Samantha seemed incapable of keeping quiet about the Duchess. Speaking during the 2022 Channel 5 documentary, Harry and Meghan vs. the Monarchy, she said, "Every other week it seemed, they came out with some more very cruel criticism of their half-sister." She continued, "They just seemed incapable of keeping quiet at this point." Richard Kay, royal expert and friend of the late Diana, Princess of Wales, speculated that not being invited to Meghan and Harry's wedding may have spurred some of the criticism. He told the documentary, "The fact that none of them had been invited to the wedding clearly rankled hugely." Meghan's answer to that was that they played very little part in her life. The Duchess affirmed this feeling in her now infamous interview with Oprah Winfrey. Meghan told the chat show host that she grew up as an only child. Her comments about her childhood have recently been brought back into focus as part of a legal suit brought by Samantha. The 57-year-old is suing the Duchess in a defamation case, and has honed in on Meghan's comment about her upbringing as an only child. The Duchess' half-sister is hoping to win £57,000 worth of damages following Meghan's comments and the notorious royal biography, Finding Freedom, by Omid Scobie and Carolyn Durand, that Samantha is claiming subjected her to humiliation, shame and hatred on a worldwide scale. Both authors have previously denied that the Sussexes had any direct involvement. Last month, Meghan's lawyers responded by saying her comments about growing up without siblings were clearly subjective, not factual, noting her words to be a textbook example of a subjective statement about how a person feels about her childhood. Her team are also putting forth an argument that says Meghan can't be sued for anything in relation to Finding Freedom, as she was not the author. However, Samantha is pushing the narrative that the Duchess could have had off-record conversations with the authors and is therefore also liable. Samantha's lawyers have since claimed they have a viable defamation case against Meghan because they have actual proof of the falsity of statements she made. Jamie Sasson, of the Ticktin Law Group, told Newsweek last week, "This is a viable claim because we have actual proof of the falsity of these statements and that Meghan Markle made these statements. In Oprah, they were directly made, and in Finding Freedom, it was instructed to put these things into the book by Mrs. Markle, Meghan, through the email. If we didn't have the email it would be a different story." He concluded, "The part that is missed in this whole thing is they're acting as if there was no harm that came from these statements that were made." Mr. Sasson referred to statements made in an email from Meghan that was sent to Kensington Palace Communications Secretary Jason Naff. The email, which was supplied to a UK court by Mr. Naff as evidence in a lawsuit filed by Meghan against the Mail on Sunday over their publication of a private letter written to her father, showed that the Duchess offered him information with which to brief authors Mr. Scobie and Ms. Durand. Mr. Sasson said that they will argue Meghan instructed that certain elements were included in the book. Meghan and Samantha are thought to have last seen each other in 2008. Their rocky relationship exploded into public view after the royal engagement was announced in 2017. Like her brother and father, Samantha has participated in numerous interviews attacking the Duchess. She also released a book about her sister last year titled The Diary of Princess Pushy's Sister, a Memoir, Part 1. It lays bare details of the Markles' upbringing, including the rivalry when their father was still married to the former actress mother Doria Ragland. But Samantha also writes of her adoration for Meghan as a baby and described the infant as biracial, beautiful, and was both the color of a peach and a rose. A judge is set to rule on Meghan's filing to have her half-sister's lawsuit dismissed with no date set for when the ruling will be delivered.